question. This is a good one. I've experienced this. It says, I have some moths in my pantry. What are they and what can I do about them? This comes from Andy. Well, it's likely this Indian meal moth.
Yeah, Indian meal moth is pretty common. Kind of different from what we've been talking about.
We're talking about outside stuff. This is an indoor
kind
pest.
of an indoor pest.
Right.
But I bet a lot of you have seen these moths flying around and didn't think much of it. And just like you, I kind of had some in my I think it was in the cornbread. I had some cornbread that had fell out of a box in a back shelf.
Cornbread meal?
Cornbread meal.
Right.
And so these pantry pests, this particular one is feeding on that meal that is spilt. And then, then we started seeing more and more of those adults. And then before long, I realized, well, there's probably some spill. There's probably some sort of grain in my pantry that is where it's harboring these insects. So.
Well, this is like the adult here, but there's also those larvae. If you, like I know I've experienced this, you probably have too, but you keep your flour in your pantry and then you go get the flour and you open it up and there's a little webbing there.
Cobweb.
Little cobweb on there. It's like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
and then you start putting two together and the next thing you know, you go like, I have been seeing some little bugs flying around every once in a while. And it's likely these Indian meal moths. They're pretty small, like about a half inch.
Yeah, about probably the size of your fingernail. Probably your pinky fingernail would be about the size. But they're going to have this band. It's pretty, that you see a dark light band across the middle of their back.
Right.
And then frivolly wings at the end.
Is that a real word?
Yeah, I don't know, but it sounded good. But no, I mean, that adult's all going to look like that. Hopefully you don't see the larvae, but that's going to be in that box of cereal or in where that rice is or whatever. But like you said, the cobwebs, cobwebby material that they've spun is going to be right at that top surface. So.
Well, and sometimes I know I've even found them like in a box of cereal, the cardboard fold in the bottom, like in between the cardboard.
Yeah, that's right.
There. So
that's right.
They get in there and they're pretty prolific. Each female can lay about 400 eggs.
Yeah.
So you can see how pretty quick you could have
explode.
A serious problem.
It can explode. So the adult's not feeding; it's the larvae that's feeding on that grain.
Right.
And but the adults are the telltale sign. So they're like any other moth. They want to go to the light. So you may see them around your light at night, or in your kitchen around, underneath the oven, the oven light or the stove light. They tend to go to light, so that's where you'll see them. But if you see quite a few, and then they have that tan band, I guess, more than likely that's what it is.
So if you got them, getting rid of them, you got a good hygiene. You got to clean up. Maybe you got to throw out some stuff that you didn't want to throw out.
Yeah,
but you got to clean up and get rid of those things.
We all have that box of cornbread or whatever in the back of the pantry that we forget about, and that's just a perfect harboring place. It's all protected. Everything's good until they start showing up. So yeah, you probably do need to clean them up. Usually one cleanup's usually good. If you've got a lot of material out, like that box of cereal or open flour, it's good to put it in a sealed container.
Right.
You can put it in a sealed container, and you can that will help keep things out. Another thing that we hadn't thought of is dog food.
Right.
Dog food may be in the utility room, so you may notice more of them in the utility room. Well, that dog food may have fell down by the baseboards or things, and they have found it and start feeding on it. So. They're going to eat that grain. So anywhere where grain could be, corn, oats, any type of grain, that's where they have a chance to be.
All right, and a good strategy, and I've had success with this, are those pheromone traps.
Yeah.
They're little triangle cardboard traps, pheromone traps that attract.
Yep.
It emits a scent, and they're going to track it, but it's lined with sticky.
Yep.
And they get in there and they get on that sticky.
And fly in there. And
they're stuck.
And you know them that way. And then that at least give you a sign that you're seeing they're somewhere. You've got to find their source.
Right.
Yep.
And you can just those traps are good for several weeks, but you can just keep sticking those traps at it until someday there's no insects in your
around.
trap anymore.
Yep.
So
So
we've got rid of them.
You're good to go. A traditional spray. I mean, you can spray, but a lot of the times you're going to have to sanitize first anyway. Right. So try to clean them up, get all that debris out of there, and I honestly think you'll be well off after that.
All right. So that wraps up another episode here. We're glad you were here. We will see you next time.
Sounds good.